What's going on, world? It's your boy Alex Monitor, and today we're going to be talking about a fantastic lens that's available for micro four thirds, Sony E, Fuji X, and Canon M mount, and almost nobody on YouTube is talking about it. Wait, haven't we done this before? We're going to talk about a fantastic lens that's available for micro four thirds, Sony E, Fuji X, and Canon M mount, but it's been almost completely ignored by the YouTube community. This is the Kamlan 50mm f1.1 version 2. If you're new to the channel, this might be the first time you've heard of Kamlan, a line of DSLR and mirrorless camera lenses by Chang Optics. I did a quick rundown of the history of these lenses last year in my review of the Kamlan 28mm f1.4, which I recommend you watch after this so you can be caught up. Now, both of these lenses are the product of Kickstarter campaigns, and I was able to grab the 50mm for about $200 on pre-order. It's currently available for $250 from Amazon. For what you're getting, this lens is an insane value. I really don't understand how it's not more popular. The construction is all metal, the aperture is declicked, the focus ring is super smooth, and even though it's only got about a 90-degree throw distance, it works well because it's much larger around the barrel than most micro four thirds lenses. It's even got a metal screw-on lens hood and generally just looks badass. For anybody wondering, this lens is all manual, but so are most of the budget-friendly mirrorless camera lenses you see coming out of China. But for the performance you get and the quality of construction, I'll gladly give up autofocus to be able to have a lens like this in my bag. When the original version of this lens came out, it was reviewed by a ton of popular YouTubers, and the general consensus was it was an insane deal. It was $150 in f1.1 and 50mm, which is pretty much a universal focal length. On micro four thirds, yes, it's a little bit tight, but still, f1.1. That being said, you get what you pay for, and the lens had some serious issues. The biggest one and the deal breaker for me was that it seemed to have an uneven focal plane. You either had to choose the center of the image being focused or the edges, even when shooting an object that was perfectly flat to the camera and stopping down the aperture. I think Kamlan went back to the drawing board and completely re-engineered this lens because the Mark II is completely free of these problems. I've been using this lens every chance I can get, including interviews, product shots, and random B-roll. It produces an amazing image with great colors. It is pretty sharp across the frame. As you probably expect, this lens isn't completely free of issues. Shooting at f1.1 in broad daylight or with a strong light source hitting the lens is going to result in a ton of washout or loss of contrast. It's also going to be kind of soft. This is typical in lenses with super fast apertures. If you've used vintage lenses or some of the other Chinese lenses in this category at f1.2 or f1.4, you've probably noticed similar characteristics. But with the f1.1 aperture, I know all of you are asking the question, how does it do in low light? Well, I went on a nighttime ride around Salt Lake City a couple months ago and have to say I was super impressed. I was able to shoot 4K 60 footage on the GH5 at night and it was super clean. Now hold on a minute and let that sink in. I don't think you understand what I'm telling you. 4K slow motion footage on the GH5 at night. That's a 3-year-old micro four thirds sensor and it was clean. I don't know about you, but I'm super impressed. Speaking of micro four thirds, on the GH5, 50mm gives you 100mm field of view if you're comparing it to full frame. On APS-C, it's going to be closer to 75mm, 80mm. That's definitely in the telephoto range, and that means it's more of a specific tool and not really a general purpose lens. I've been having a lot of fun using it as a tight angle on interviews and for my podcast shoots, but that definitely requires a good amount of room. If you're looking for Bokalicious product B-roll or thinking about doing some portrait shooting, rock on. If you're mostly filming yourself for YouTube, this probably isn't the lens for you. Did I mention it was all manual? Bottom line, I love this lens. They fixed pretty much all the issues from the previous one, and it punches way above its weight class in terms of price. Like, it really feels like a much more expensive lens. If this lens had autofocus in it, easily would be $1,000, maybe even $1,400. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in the market for a good 50mm lens, you don't mind manual focus, whether you're shooting Panasonic, Sony, Fuji, whatever, I strongly urge you to check out this lens. For $250, it's a steal. I don't understand why Kamlan isn't more popular with the YouTube community, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I've got the 28mm, I've got this 50mm, I've got a 21mm f1.8, which I talked about in my wide angle lens review video. And they've got a couple more lenses in the pipeline for Micro Four Thirds that I'm really looking forward to checking out. So that's gonna be it for this episode. If you like the content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on a single episode. We got tons more content coming this year, from the podcast to tutorials and more product reviews. And speaking of tutorials, the last one was how to set up a YouTube studio anywhere. I'm in LA right now in another hotel room, and I want y'all to get in the comments and tell me how many lights you think I am using to get this look right here. So get down in those comments. First person to get it right will get a shout out in the next video. Well, the next review. The next podcast is already done, so you won't get a shout out in that. But the next product review, you'll get a shout out. So get in those comments, let me know what you think, and I'll see y'all next time. It's your boy Alex Miner.